Hi folks, T-Witty here, and welcome to the start of a new playthrough. The forest is over, the people have spoken. Our next playthrough is going to be of Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. And Siege of Dragonspear, since Siege operates as an expansion to Baldur's Gate. That's what we're going to do. Now, those of you... Well, let's let the intro play. Fate leads him who follows it and drags him who resists. Plutarch.
Only weeks ago, the malevolent Sarava...
Oh, it's doing Siege of Dragonspear. And it went to desktop. I don't want to do Siege of Dragonspear right now. I want to play the original game. Oh gosh. Alright. Options. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. When you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you. Friedrich Nietzsche. Games. With Baldur's Gate 3 due to actually release pretty soon, this also seems like good timing. Alright. Didn't expect it to jump right in quite like that. Hold on, my dog's barking. I gotta go get her. River! River! Good girl. Alright. Okay, dog secured. Thank you. Alright. So, as I was saying, or starting to say at any rate, those of you who have been around a while probably know that on my old channel, while I was suffering from alcoholism, I did a playthrough of this game, and it ended partway through Siege of Dragonspear. In the interest of having it be different, fresh for me, fresh for you. The big change up this go round is that I intend to play on Legacy of Baal difficulty. Story mode. So, well, yeah, let's backtrack and see what all the different options are. Siege of Dragonspear credits. Okay, yeah, this is just credits. That's fine. Gameplay. Story mode. The party gains all the benefits of easy difficulty and they cannot die in combat. Weak sauce. Tooltip delay. This slider controls the delay before a tooltip appears over a control. The maximum value disables tooltips. Keyboard scroll speed. This slider controls how fast the area scrolls in response to the keyboard shortcuts. Mouse scroll speed. This slider controls how fast the area scrolls in response to mouse movement. Difficulty. This slider controls the difficulty level of the game. Easy, far left. All hit point rolls are maximum. Party members gain +6 luck and cannot permanently die. All spells are learned automatically and opponents do half damage against the party. Normal, middle left. All hit point rolls are maximum. Party members cannot permanently die. All spells are learned automatically and opponents do 3/4 damage against the party. Core rules, middle. AD&D 2nd edition rules apply. Hit point rolls are random, party members can permanently die, spell learning has a chance to fail, and opponents do full damage. Hard, middle right. All opponents do 50% more damage against the party. Insane, far right. All opponents do double damage against the party. Area map background. Highlight accessible terrain on the area map. Multiplayer chat box. Show chat box in multiplayer games. Don't care about that. Gore. See gory combat animations. Weather. See weather effects like rain, snow, and fog. Group infravision. Show infravision when any selected character has infravision. Otherwise, infravision will only be shown when one character with infravision is selected. I'll leave that on. Rest until healed. Repeatedly cast healing spells on rest until fully healed. Otherwise, currently memorized healing spells are cast once on rest. Note, this option does not work in multiplayer. Max HP on level up, fuck yeah. Gain maximum additional hit points on level up. Otherwise, the game follows AD&D rules. Absolutely, we're doing that. No difficulty-based damage increase. Prevent your characters from taking more damage on difficulty settings higher than core rules. Additional enemies will still spawn. No, we'll take the damage increase. Don't melee after depleting one ammo stack. Only switch to melee after depleting all equipped ammo stacks. Yes, please. Assign keys. This is fine. This is fine. This is all fine. Although, Q and L for quick save and quick load, I don't like that. Am I... Okay, so I can, in theory, do, yeah, we're gonna do F5, F9, because, come on. What? What? Hold up. I can't use the function keys. Fine, I guess Q and L are fine then. I don't like that, but whatever. Feedback. Marker feedback. This slider controls when the ellipsoid markers are rendered under creatures. Minimum, selected creatures. Low, selected creatures and selectable characters. Higher, selected, targeted, or hostile creatures and selectable characters. Maximum, all creatures and characters. Locator feedback. This slider controls when locator arrows, which indicate the direction of a character off-screen, appear. Minimum, never. Low, character takes damage. Medium, character takes damage or is selected. High, always. Maximum, always. Visual feedback. Colored selection circles. Party members' markers use each character's primary color instead of the classic green. Don't need that. Classic selection circles. Restore the classic selection circles in movement marker. More confirmation prompts. Prompt before removing memorized spells or resting it ends. No cosmetic attacks. Show attack animations only when characters are making real attacks. Otherwise, characters go through attack animations throughout a round to simulate feinting and dodging. Journal pop-ups. Show a pop-up at the top of the screen on gaining a journal entry. Equipment comparison. Show a comparison of the current and new equipment when selecting an item on the inventory screen, and highlight the portraits of the party members who would benefit from the selected item. Yes. Feedback messages. To hit rolls. See attacking to hit rolls in the dialog window. Actions. See characters' action messages in the dialog window. State changes. See characters' state messages in the dialog window. See combat information messages in the dialog window. See character selection text in the dialog window. See other types of messages in the dialog window. I want everything. Auto pause. Choose the conditions under which the game should automatically pause. Center on party member. Center the view on the party member who triggered an auto pause. Yes. Character hit. Pause whenever a party member is hit. Character injured. Pause whenever a party member is seriously injured, reduced to fewer than 30% hit points. Character death. Pause whenever a party member dies. Character attacked. Pause whenever a party member is attacked. Character's target destroyed. Pause whenever a party member's opponent is killed. Weapon unusable. Pause whenever a party member's current weapon becomes unusable. End of round. Pause whenever a party member reaches the end of a combat round. That's the only one I feel like I don't need. Enemy sighted. Pause whenever the party spots hostile creatures. Spellcast. Pause whenever a party member casts a spell. Trap found. Pause whenever a party member finds a trap. Alright, so there we go. So, what I was saying is, as a matter of differentiation from the original playthrough, keep it fresh for you and fresh for me, I'm going to play on Legacy of Baal. That completely changes the entire experience, much the same way as, playing Oblivion on max difficulty does. Similar challenge level, I would say, too. It's going to necessitate a completely different build, a completely different party composition, a completely different exploration and play order, completely different combat strategies. It's going to be a completely fresh experience, and I think it's going to be fun. It'll definitely be an interesting challenge. Graphics. DirectX 9.0C, running on Intel R UHD Graphics 630 driver provided by Intel. This panel controls various user interface features and customization options of the game. This panel controls various user interface features and customization options. This panel controls the amount of visual feedback that the user interface provides. Yes, okay, good. Font size. This slider controls the font size for all the non-UI text in the game. Run the game in full screen mode. Hardware mouse cursor. Use hardware cursor for improved performance. Disabling this option can resolve some compatibility issues. Scale user interface. Stretch the UI to fill the available screen space when the window is resized. Otherwise, the UI will shrink as the screen resolution increases. Note, if your screen's resolution is smaller than 1024 by 768, this option will have no effect. Zoom lock. Reset the zoom level to the default value and prevent any subsequent attempts to zoom in or out. Sprite outlines. Smooth sprite outlines the animations of party members and other creatures. You must reload an active game before this change will take effect. Grayscale on pause. Enable grayscale effect on pause. Highlight selected sprite. Highlight your currently selected sprite. Sprite outlines must be enabled. You must restart the game for changes to take effect. Dither always. Always dither characters obscured by objects. Otherwise, characters are only dithered when the cursor is over them or their portrait. When not dithered, obscured characters are not displayed at all. Show character HP. Display the current and maximum hit points of each party member on their portrait. Show health bars. Display health bars over the avatars of all creatures during combat. Allow scrolling out of bounds. Enable this option to allow the area map to scroll past the edge of the user interface. Nearest neighbor scaling. Enable this option to render creature and spell animations using the nearest neighbor method. Disable it to apply a linear scaling method, which smooths out the sprites for a softer, slightly out of focus look. Let's enable it. Area map zoom transition. Show a brief zoom transition when opening and closing the area map. Alternate renderer. Enable DirectX rendering support. Only use this if you experience graphical problems using the default renderer. You must restart the game for changes to take effect. Okay, well, hold on. Let's go restart the game so that those particular changes take effect, shall we? Alright, right back in. And back into here. Language. English. Show subtitles. You must restart the game for changes to take effect. That's fine. Movies. Sound. Volume controls. This panel controls various user interface features and customization options of the game. Ambient volume. This slider controls the volume of background noises that are part of the scene. Sound effects volume. This slider controls the volume of miscellaneous sound effects. Voice volume. This slider controls the volume of character dialogue. Music volume. This slider controls the volume of the music. Movie volume. This slider controls the volume of the movies. Character sounds. Character subtitles. Display subtitles for character sounds. Battle cries. Play battle cries during combat. Character movement sounds. Hear footsteps and other sounds caused by creature movements. Command sounds. These buttons control how often party members say their command sounds. Always. Whenever a character is given a command. Seldom, when the character is selected and given an initial command. Never disables command sounds. Selection sounds. These buttons control how often party members say their selection sounds. Always, whenever a character is selected. Seldom, 20% of the time a character is selected. Never, disable selection sounds. I like seldom. That sounds pretty good. Alright. Okay, back. So obviously, I think my old save data is still here, but we're going to be starting a new run. Options. Oh, yeah, same here. Tutorial. What is this? New game. I don't think we need to do the tutorial. We don't want to pre-generate a character either. Character generation. Press the gender button to begin creating your character, or press back to return to the previous page. If you wish to import a pre-made character, use the import button to select one of the different characters which have already been created for you. Gender. This is an aesthetic choice and will not affect your attributes in any fashion. It can, however, affect whether or not an NPC becomes romantically interested in your character. Females of the realms can excel in whatever profession they choose, whether wizardry, thievery, or the arts of war. And males of the realms can excel in whatever profession they choose, whether wizardry, thievery, or the arts of war. Use my old classic portrait. I always use this one. Race. The race of your character will determine what their base abilities can be, as well as assign possible intrinsic talents, such as infravision. Some restrictions in class selection may also apply, because game balance dictates that certain races are unsuited for certain professions. Half-orc. Half-orcs are born from the union of human and orc parents. They are as tall as humans, but a little heavier due to their muscular builds. Their greenish pigmentation, sloping forehead, jutting jaw, prominent teeth, and coarse body hair make their lineage plain for all to see. In the Sword Coast, half-orcs are tolerated, as unlike in the north, the local people haven't had centuries of warfare with orc kind. Half-orcs are known for their great strength. Half-orcs have the following traits: infravision, +1 strength, +1 constitution, -2 intelligence. Gnome. Kin to dwarves, gnomes are noticeably smaller than their distant cousins. Gnomes, as they proudly maintain, are also less rotund than dwarves. Most have dark tan or brown skin, white hair, and rather large noses. Gnomes have lively and sly senses of humor, especially for practical jokes. They have a love for nature that is only matched by their love for gems and jewelry. There are two racial divisions of gnomes within the realms: rock gnomes and deep gnomes, Svirfneblin. Gnomes have the following traits: +2 bonus to saving throws versus rod, staff, wand, and versus spell, with additional bonuses based on constitution. Infravision. +5 open locks, +10 find traps, +5 move silently, +5 hide in shadows, +10 detect illusion, +5 set traps, +1 intelligence, -1 wisdom. Halfling. Halflings are short, generally plump people, very much like small humans. Their faces are round and broad and often quite florid. Their hair is typically curly, and the tops of their feet are covered with coarse hair. Overall, they prefer the comforts of home to dangerous adventuring. They enjoy good living, rough humor, and homespun tales. There are 3 racial divisions of halflings within the realms: the harefoot, tall fellow, and stout. Halflings have the following traits: +2 bonus to saving throws versus paralysis, poison, death, versus rod, staff, wand, and versus spell, with additional bonuses based on constitution. +1 Thaco bonus with slings, +5 open locks, +5 find traps, +5 pickpockets, +10 move silently, +15 hide in shadows, +1 dexterity, -1 strength, -1 wisdom. Dwarf. Dwarves are short and stocky, easily identifiable by their size and shape. They have ruddy cheeks, dark eyes, and dark hair. Dwarves tend to be dour and taciturn. They are given to hard work and care little for most humor. They enjoy beer, ale, mead, but most of all, they love gold. There are 4 racial divisions of dwarves within the realms: shield dwarves, gold dwarves, wild dwarves, and Duergar. Dwarves have the following traits: +2 bonus to saving throws versus paralysis, poison, death, versus rod, staff, wand, and versus spell, with additional bonuses based on constitution. Infravision. +10 open locks, +15 find traps, +5 detect illusion, +10 set traps, +1 constitution, -1 dexterity, -2 charisma. Half-elf. Half-elves are a mix of human and elven blood. They are handsome folk with good features from each of their parent races. A half-elf has the curiosity, inventiveness, and ambition of their human ancestors and the refined senses, love of nature, and artistic tastes of their elven ancestors. Half-elves have the following traits: 30% resistance against charm and sleep magics, infravision, +10 pickpockets, +5 hide and shadows. Elf. Elves tend to be shorter and slimmer than humans. Their features are finely chiseled and delicate, and they speak in melodic tones. Elves are looked upon as being frivolous and aloof. They concern themselves with natural beauty, dancing, frolicking, and other similar pursuits. Their humor is clever, as are their songs and poetry. There are 6 racial divisions of elves within the realms: gold elves, moon elves, wild elves, sea elves, dark elves, drow, and winged elves of Ariel. Elves have the following traits: 90% resistance against charm and sleep magics, infravision, +1 Thaco bonus with bows, short swords, and long swords, -5 open locks, +5 pickpockets, +5 move silently, +10 hide and shadows, +1 dexterity, -1 constitution. Human. Humans are the predominant race in Faerun. Humans rule most of the significant empires and kingdoms in the realms. They are the most social and tolerant of races, excepting perhaps the halflings. Humans may advance as any class, and are also the only race that can dual class. Humans may not multi-class. So we're gonna do a human berserker with plans to eventually dual class into a cleric in Baldur's Gate 2. Class. A character class is like a profession or career. It is what your character has worked and trained at during his younger years. Each class has different special powers and abilities that are available only to that class. Shaman. Shamans forge a divine connection with the natural world, similar to the way druids commune with nature. But shamans are more spiritual than primal. They directly tap into the energies that flow through the earth and air, through plants and animals, and even through the dead, and shape these energies to obey their will. Nowhere is this more evident than in their ability to summon powerful spirits as guardians and defenders. A being of 2 worlds, shamans value balance over dominance. Class features. May only wear leather, studded leather, and hide armor. May not equip shields larger than bucklers. May only use the following weapons: dagger, club, spear, axe, quarterstaff, dart, sling, and short bow. May only become proficient 1 slot in any weapon class. May only become proficient 1 slot in any fighting style. May cast druidic spells. Does not automatically learn all spells of a given level as druids do. Instead, shamans select new spells to learn at each level, which they can cast daily without memorization. Gains immediate access to a number of shaman-specific spells, which can be cast like any other: Spirit Ward, Writhing Fog, Spiritual Clarity, Spirit Fire, Recall Spirit, Spiritual Lock, and Aethergate. Gains use of the Detect Illusion skill with 20 points as a base, and at 4 points per level, up to a maximum of 100 at level 20. May use Shamanic Dance at will. Shamanic Dance. Shamans can summon spirit allies by performing a ritualistic dance. While dancing, the shaman takes a -4 penalty to armor class and cannot move, attack, cast spells, use items and special abilities, or perform any other activity. Each round while the shaman dances, there is a 35% base chance, plus 2% for each level of the shaman, that a spirit will answer the call, up to a maximum of 75% at level 20. Any summoned spirits will disappear if the shaman moves, stops dancing, or if the spirits leave visual range. The spirits grow in power as the shaman gains additional levels. Level 1. Minor animal spirits, snake, fox, hound, up to 2 spirits at the same time. Level 6. Major animal spirits, bear, panther, boar, up to 3 spirits at the same time. Level 12. Minor nature spirits, lesser air spirit, lesser earth spirit, lesser fire spirit, up to 4 spirits at the same time. Level 18. Major nature spirits, air spirit, earth spirit, fire spirit, up to 5 spirits at the same time. The type of the summoned spirit is randomly determined from all the spirits available at the shaman's level. For example, a level 12 shaman will summon either a minor nature spirit, a major animal spirit, or a minor animal spirit, but cannot choose which one appears. Spirits will do their best to protect the shaman, but are not controlled directly. Does not gain bonus spells per day from High Wisdom. Alignment restricted to neutral good, true neutral, and neutral evil. May not dual class or multi-class. Ineligible for any stronghold. This affects only the Shadows of Am campaign and Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. Hit die D8. Monk. Monks are warriors who pursue perfection through contemplation as well as action. They are versatile fighters, especially skilled in combat without weapons or armor. Though monks cannot cast spells, they have a unique magic of their own. They channel a subtle energy called Ki, which allows them to perform amazing feats. The monk's best-known feat is their ability to stun an opponent with an unarmed blow. Class features. May not wear any armor. May only use weapons available to the thief class, except two-handed. May only become proficient one slot in any weapon class. May only become proficient one slot in single weapon style, and may not put slots into any other style. Moves 2 points faster than other characters. Movement rate further improves by 1 every 5 levels. May make 1 unarmed attack per round. An additional half attack per round is gained every 3 levels. Damage dealt by unarmed attacks increases with level as follows. Level 1 to 2, 1d6. Level 3 to 5, 1d8. Level 6 to 8, 1d10. Level 9 to 14, 1d12. Level 15 plus, 1d20. At level 9, unarmed attacks are treated as a +1 magical weapon, and gain a +1 bonus to hit and damage rolls. This enchantment improves to +2 at level 12, +3 at level 15, and +4 at level 25. Receives a +2 bonus to saving throws versus spell. Deflect missiles. +1 bonus to AC versus missile attacks every 3 levels. Starts with an armor class of 9 at first level and gains an additional +1 bonus every 2 levels. May use the Stunning Blow ability once per day. Gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 4 levels thereafter. Stunning Blow. All successful attacks within the next round force the victim to save versus spell or be stunned. This special ability automatically modifies normal attacks. No targeting needs to be done. 5th level. Becomes immune to all diseases and cannot be slowed or hasted. 7th level. May use the Lay on Hands ability on himself to heal 2 points per level. 8th level, gains a -1 bonus to speed factor. 9th level, gains a +1 bonus to all saving throws and becomes immune to charm. 11th level, becomes immune to poison. 12th level, gains another -1 bonus to speed factor. 13th level, may use the Quivering Palm ability once per day. Quivering Palm. The next successful attack forces the opponent to save versus spell or die. This special ability automatically modifies normal attacks. No targeting needs to be done. 14th level. Gains 3% magic resistance per level, starting with 42% at 14th level. 20th level. Becomes immune to non-magical weapons. Alignment restricted to lawful. Hit die D8. Sorcerer. Sorcerers are practitioners of magic who were born with the innate ability to cast spells. It is thought that the blood of some powerful creature flows through their veins. Perhaps they are the spawn of the gods themselves, or even dragons walking in humanoid form. Regardless, the sorcerer's magic is intuitive rather than logical. They know fewer spells than mages and acquire spells more slowly, but they can cast spells more often and have no need to select and prepare spells ahead of time. Sorcerers cannot specialize in magic the way mages do. Other than these differences, a sorcerer is very similar to a mage. Class features. May not wear any armor. May only use the following weapons: dagger, quarterstaff, dart, sling. May only become proficient 1 slot in any weapon class. May not place any slots in any fighting style. May cast arcane spells. May not scribe spells into their spellbooks as mages do. Instead, sorcerers learn a small number of spells at each level, which they can cast daily without memorization. Hit die D4. Bard. The Bard is a rogue, but he is very different from the thief. The Bard's strength is his pleasant and charming personality. With it and his wits, he makes his way through the world. A bard is a talented musician and a walking storehouse of gossip, tall tales, and lore. He learns a little bit about everything that crosses his path and is a jack of all trades but master of none. While many bards are scoundrels, their stories and songs are welcome almost everywhere. Class features: may not wear armor heavier than chainmail. Spells cannot be cast while wearing armor. May not equip shields larger than bucklers. May only become proficient one slot in any weapon class. May only become proficient one slot in any fighting style. Thieving abilities: pickpockets. Increased lore score. May cast arcane spells starting at 2nd level. May use Bard Song ability. While active, the Bard Song has the following effects: restore morale to its average value, remove fear, protection from fear, alignment restricted to any neutral, hit die d6. Thief. To accomplish his goals for good or ill, the thief is a skilled pilferer. Cunning, nimbleness, and stealth are his hallmarks. Whether he turns his talent against innocent passers-by and wealthy merchants, or oppressors and monsters, is a choice for the thief to make. Class features: may not wear armor heavier than studded leather, may not equip shields larger than bucklers, may only use the following weapons: longsword, shortsword, katana, scimitar, dagger, club, quarterstaff, crossbow, shortbow, dart, sling, may only become proficient one slot in any weapon class, may only become proficient one slot in any fighting style, may distribute 25 points per level, 40 at level 1, in thieving abilities: open locks, pickpockets, find traps, move silently, hide in shadows, detect illusions, set traps. Starts with base scores of 10 in open locks, 5 in find traps, 15 in pickpockets, 10 in move silently, and 5 in hide in shadows. May backstab for increased damage. Level 1 through 4 times 2, level 5 through 8 times 3, level 9 through 12 times 4, level 13 plus times 5. May use the set snare ability once per day. Gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 5 levels thereafter. Set snare. Set a trap in the chosen location when no hostile creatures are in sight. Traps grow more powerful with the thief's level and can only be triggered by enemies. First level deals 2d8 plus 5 missile damage. 11th level deals 2d8 plus 5 missile damage and additionally deals 2d6 poison damage per round for the next 3 rounds. 16th level deals 3d8 plus 5 missile damage and 4d8 plus 2 fire damage. 21st level deals 3d8 plus 5 missile damage and 20 poison damage with no save. Slays target if a save versus death with a plus 4 bonus is failed. Alignment restricted to any except lawful good. Hit die d6. Prime requisites for dual classing: dexterity. Mage. The wizard strives to be a master of magical energies, shaping them and casting them as spells. To do so, he studies strange tongues and obscure facts and devotes much of his time to magical research. A wizard must rely on knowledge and wit to survive. Wizards are rarely seen adventuring without a retinue of fighters and men-at-arms. Because there are different types or schools of magic, there are different types of wizards. The mage studies all types of magic and learns a wide variety of spells. His broad range makes him well suited to the demands of adventuring. Class features: may not wear any armor, may only use the following weapons: dagger, quarterstaff, dart, sling, may only become proficient one slot in any weapon class, may not place any slots in any fighting style, may cast arcane spells, hit die d4. Prime requisites for dual classing: intelligence. Druid. The druid serves the cause of nature and neutrality. The wilderness is his community, and he uses his special powers to protect it and to preserve balance in the world. Class features: may only wear non-metallic armor, may only equip bucklers and non-metallic shields, may only use the following weapons: scimitar, dagger, club, spear, quarterstaff, dart, sling, may only become proficient one slot in any weapon class, may only become proficient one slot in any fighting style, may cast druidic spells. 7th level, may shapeshift into a wolf, black bear, or brown bear once per day. 15th level, becomes immune to poison. 18th level, gains 10% resistance to cold, fire, electricity, and acid, gains a further 10% resistance at levels 21 and 24. Alignment restricted to true neutral. Hit die d8. Prime requisites for dual classing: wisdom and charisma. Cleric. The cleric is a generic priest of any mythos who tends to the spiritual needs of the community. Though he is both protector and healer, he is not purely defensive. When evil threatens, the cleric is well suited to seek it out on its own ground and destroy it. The opposite is true of evil clerics as well, and there are also many variations in between. Class features: may wear helmets, may wear any armor, May only use non-bladed, non-piercing weapons, warhammer, club, flail, mace, quarterstaff, sling. May only become proficient 1 slot in any weapon class. May only become proficient 1 slot in any fighting style. May turn undead, may cast priest spells, hit die d8. Prime requisites for dual classing, wisdom. Paladin. A paladin is a warrior, bold and pure, the exemplar of everything good and true. Like the fighter, the paladin is a person of action and combat. However, the paladin lives for the ideals of righteousness, justice, honesty, piety, and chivalry, and strives to be a living example of these virtues so that others may learn from him as well as gain by his actions. Class features. May wear helmets, may wear any armor and use any weapon, may not exceed specialization 2 slots in any weapon class, may achieve specialization 2 slots in any fighting style, and allocate 3 slots in 2 weapon style. May use Lay on Hands ability once per day to heal a target for 2 hit points per level of the paladin. May cast Detect Evil once per day per level, starts at first level with 4 uses. May cast Protection from Evil once per day per level, starts at first level with 1 use. May turn undead as a cleric 2 levels lower, starting at level 3. May cast priest spells, starting at level 9. Receives a +2 bonus to all saving throws, alignment restricted to lawful good, hit die d10. Ranger. The Ranger is a warrior and a woodsman who is skilled with weapons and is knowledgeable in the ways of the forest. The Ranger often protects and guides lost travelers and honest peasant folk. A Ranger needs to be strong and wise to the ways of nature to live a full life. Class features. May wear helmets, may wear any armor and use any weapon, may not exceed specialization 2 slots in any weapon class, may achieve specialization 2 slots in any fighting style, begins specialized 2 slots in 2 weapon style and may place a 3rd slot into it, may select a racial enemy, which grants a +4 bonus to hit and damage rolls against the selected enemy race, may use the Charm Animal ability once per day, gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 2 levels thereafter. May use the Hide in Shadows ability while wearing no armor, leather armor, or studded leather armor. May cast Druidic spells starting at level 8, alignment restricted to good, hit die d10, prime requisites for dual classing, strength, dexterity, and wisdom. And Fighter. This is the one we're going to use. I'll explain why before I go further. The Fighter is a champion, swordsman, soldier, and brawler who lives or dies by his knowledge of weapons and tactics. Fighters can be found at the front of any battle, contesting toe-to-toe with monsters and villains. A good fighter needs to be strong and healthy if he hopes to survive. Class features. May wear helmets, may wear any armor and use any weapon, may achieve Grand Mastery 5 slots with any weapon class, may achieve Specialization 2 slots in any fighting style and allocate 3 slots in 2 weapon style, hit die d10, prime requisites for dual classing, Strength. So, here's the thinking on navigating Legacy of Ball playthrough in this new run. Party composition, first and foremost. I'm going to start this time bearing Siege of Dragonspear in mind, because there's direct continuity into the expansion. Whatever characters I develop retain all of the choices I make into Siege of Dragonspear. That is not true moving characters into the sequel other than the player character. So that becomes really significant. In my original run, I chose to play with mostly sequel characters with the exception of Ajantis. I'm not going to worry about that this time, because some of the best characters, some of the absolute necessary sequel characters, are unavailable in Siege of Dragonspear. Imoen immediately springs to mind. So, number one, I'm going to focus on a party that is all characters I can carry forward into the expansion. Number two, I'm actually going to roleplay with a good party. I can still use my gal Viconia come sequel time, because she has the alignment change available to her. But for this one, I'm going to stick with good characters. I don't want to have to worry about breakdowns in the middle of a really critical fight, particularly if things are going well on Legacy of Ball. Third, actual party composition. For this game, for Baldur's Gate 1, the absolute best sources of damage are archers, and it's not even close. Used to be, it was a good idea to spec your player character into the archer, but now we can carry our character forward into Baldur's Gate 2 with all of the Baldur's Gate 1, without a respec. The Enhanced Edition added all of the extra kits and proficiencies and spells and tweaks that are in the sequel into the first game as well. So we really need to spec our player character with an eye toward Baldur's Gate 2 in the future. So we shouldn't have our player character be the archer. So ultimately, our party is going to be 1 tank, 3 archers, a divine caster, and an arcane caster, and a thief. We want, of course, a thief mage, but because Imoen isn't available for Siege of Dragonspear, we want to find a different thief who can still effectively dual class into a mage. And we also could use a spread on our thief skills. So our PC is going to be the tank, right? You're not going to kill many enemies in Legacy of Ball difficulty in the base game in melee battling, but you can be a tank. You can suit them up in all the best armor, cast all the protections, draw enemy aggro with them, and then your archers can pummel them, hopefully kill them quickly enough that your tank survives. You always need a divine caster, you always need an arcane caster. So our player character is going to be the tank. Our 3 archers are going to be Kiran, Kaivan, and Khalid. Our divine caster is going to be Jaheira, and our arcane caster / thief is actually going to be Safana, because we can carry all 5 of those characters directly into the expansion seamlessly. So for now, let's spec a fighter. Class Kit, there's your basic fighter. Barbarian. A barbarian can be an excellent warrior. While not as disciplined or as skilled as a fighter, the barbarian can willingly throw himself into a berserker rage, becoming a tougher and stronger opponent. Class features. May not wear armor heavier than splint mail. May not exceed specialization 2 slots with any weapon class. May achieve specialization 2 slots in any fighting style. And allocate 3 slots in 2 weapon style. Moves 2 points faster than other characters. Immune to backstab. May use the Rage ability once per day. Gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 4 levels thereafter. Rage. The Enraged status lasts for 5 rounds and provides a +4 bonus to Strength and Constitution, a -2 penalty to Armor class, and a +2 bonus to saving throws versus spell, as well as immunity to all Charm, Hold, Fear, Maze, Stun, Sleep, Confusion, and Level Drain spells. 11th level. Gains 10% resistance to crushing, slashing, piercing, and missile damage. An additional 5% is gained at levels 15 and 19, hit die D12. Kensai. This class's name, which means Sword Saint in the common tongue, refers to a warrior who has been specially trained to be one with his weapon. The Kensai is deadly, fast, and trained to fight without the protection of armor. Note, despite its common name, a Kensai may use any melee weapon with which he is proficient. Advantages. +2 bonus to armor class, +1 to hit and damage rolls every 3 levels, -1 bonus to speed factor every 4 levels, may use the Kai ability once per day, gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 4 levels thereafter. Kai. All successful attacks within the next 10 seconds deal maximum damage. Disadvantages. May not wear any armor, may not use missile weapons, may not wear gauntlets or bracers, alignment restricted to any non-chaotic. It's actually a very good fighter kit, but for obvious reasons, at least I hope obvious reasons, it's a terrible tank kit. Wizard Slayer. This warrior has been specially trained by his sect to excel in hunting and combating spellcasters of all kinds. Advantages. Each successful hit bestows a 25% cumulative chance of spell failure on the target, +1% magic resistance per level. Disadvantages. May not use any magic items apart from weapons and armor. Berserker. This is a warrior who is in tune with his animalistic side and during combat can achieve an ecstatic state of mind that will enable him to fight longer, harder, and more savagely than any person has a right to. Berserkers tend to be barbarian-like in nature, but not always. Sometimes it is a conscious choice that a warrior in training makes. Regardless, opponents on the battlefield will be unsettled when they see the savage and inhuman elements of the Berserker's personality. This class is common amongst dwarves, known to them as the Battle Ragers. The Battle Rager. Advantages. They use Rage ability once per day, gains 1 use at level 1 and an additional use every 4 levels thereafter. Rage. The enraged state lasts for 1 turn. While enraged, a Berserker gains a bonus of +2 to his attack and damage rolls, as well to his armor class. Here's the important part. And becomes immune to Charm, Confusion, Fear, Feeble Mind, Hold, Imprisonment, Level Drain, Maze, Stun, and Sleep. Outstanding tank. The Berserker also gains 15 temporary hit points, which are taken away at the end of his Berserk spree, possibly knocking him unconscious. Disadvantages. Becomes winded after berserking. -2 penalty to armor class, to hit rolls, and damage rolls. May not specialize in ranged weapons. Alignment restricted to any non-lawful. So, when we gotta draw aggro on anything that uses any of these fairly common, fairly devastating debuffs, we can rage and become immune to them. And our trio of archers should ideally be able to take out whoever we're dealing with before any of this becomes a problem. We're not going to be the archer, so I don't care about not specializing in ranged weapons. Neutral good is a perfectly fine alignment. So there we go. We are a Berserker. Let's do alignment. You are to choose your alignment. Your alignment will determine how your character should interact with his environment. Read over each carefully before choosing. If you stray severely from your alignment during the course of the game, there will be consequences. Chaotic Evil. These characters are the bane of all that is good and organized. Chaotic evil characters are motivated by the desire for personal gain and pleasure. They see absolutely nothing wrong with taking whatever they want by whatever means possible. Laws and governments are the tools of weaklings unable to fend for themselves. The strong have the right to take what they want, and the weak are there to be exploited. When chaotic evil characters band together, they are not motivated by a desire to cooperate, but rather to oppose powerful enemies. Such a group can be held together only by a strong leader capable of bullying his underlings into obedience. Since leadership is based on raw power, a leader is likely to be replaced at the first sign of weakness by anyone who can take his position away from him by any method. Bloodthirsty buccaneers and monsters of low intelligence are fine examples of chaotic evil personalities. Neutral evil. Neutral evil characters are primarily concerned with themselves and their own advancement. They have no particular objection to working with others, or for that matter, going it on their own. Their only interest is in getting ahead. If there is a quick and easy way to gain a profit, whether it be legal, questionable, or obviously illegal, they take advantage of it. Although neutral evil characters do not have the every man for himself attitude of chaotic characters, they have no qualms about betraying their friends and companions for personal gain. They typically base their allegiance on power and money, which makes them quite receptive to bribes. An unscrupulous mercenary, a common thief, and a double-crossing informer who betrays people to the authorities to protect and advance himself are typical examples of neutral evil characters. Chaotic neutral. Chaotic neutral characters believe that there is no order to anything, including their own actions. With this as a guiding principle, they tend to follow whatever whim strikes them at the moment. Good and evil are irrelevant when making a decision. Chaotic neutral characters are extremely difficult to deal with. Such characters have been known to cheerfully and for no apparent purpose gamble away everything they have on the roll of a single die. They are almost totally unreliable. In fact, the only reliable thing about them is that they cannot be relied upon. This alignment is perhaps the most difficult to play. Lunatics and madmen tend toward chaotic neutral behavior. True neutral. True neutral characters believe in the ultimate balance of forces, and they refuse to see actions as either good or evil. Since the majority of people in the world make judgments, true neutral characters are extremely rare. True neutrals do their best to avoid siding with the forces of either good or evil, law or chaos. It is their duty to see that all of these forces remain in balanced contention. True neutral characters sometimes find themselves forced into rather peculiar alliances. To a great extent, they are compelled to side with the underdog in any given situation. sometimes even changing sides as the previous loser becomes the winner. A true neutral druid might join the local barony to put down a tribe of evil gnolls, only to drop out or switch sides when the gnolls are brought to the brink of destruction. He would seek to prevent either side from becoming too powerful. Clearly, there are very few true neutral characters in the world. Chaotic Good. Chaotic Good characters are strong individualists, marked by a streak of kindness and benevolence. They believe in all the virtues of goodness and right, but they have little use for laws and regulations. They have no use for people who try to push folk around and tell them what to do. Their actions are guided by their own moral compasses that, although good, might not always be in perfect agreement with the rest of society. A brave frontiersman, forever moving on as settlers follow in his wake, is an example of a chaotic good character. Neutral Good. These characters believe that a balance of forces is important, but that the concerns of law and chaos do not moderate the need for good. Since the universe is vast and contains many creatures striving for different goals, a determined pursuit of good will not upset the balance, it may even maintain it. If fostering good means supporting organized society, then that is what must be done. If good can only come about through the overthrow of existing social orders, so be it. Social structure itself has no innate value to them. A baron who violates the orders of his king to destroy something he sees as evil is an example of a neutral good character. Alright. Now here come the ability scores. So I'm going to calculate the total I need. Secondary strength doesn't matter, because our player character is going to get the manual of bodily exercise and end the base game with 19 strength anyway, so that's nice. But I need 18 strength, 18 dex, 18 con, 18 wisdom, 16 intelligence, because we gotta be resilient to mind flayers in the when we get to the sequel. And I only need 3 charisma. That's the dump stat here. So what's the total there? 4 18s plus 16 plus 3 is 91. So I need to get at least 91. Let's go. I'm so glad that the enhanced edition shows you your total roll. The 91's not that bad. It's definitely a lower ask than I had on my prior character, which is good. Now you gotta have the 18 dex for the innate armor class, for the to-hit rolls. You gotta have the 18 strength for damage, for carry weight. You gotta have the 18 con, same thing. This character is spec to be a tank. Gotta have the 16 intelligence for the Mind Flayer defense. Gotta have 18 wisdom, because that's your spell resistance, again, necessary for tanking. The one thing we don't need is charisma, because we can use someone else to be the face of the party. So it might take a minute to get to 91, but it's not that bad. It's not nearly as awful as we were trying to do in the original run. I think I was after like a 95 or something at ultra high in that one. If I happen to roll higher than a 91, I will put the extra points into intelligence first, but we'll just see. I hope this doesn't take too long. I may also jump cut and off screen this. If it gets to where it's really taking too much time. So anyway, for Legacy of Ball, our tactics are going to be very, very different as we progress through the game as well. We're going to rely very heavily on charming enemies. With that in mind, one of the most important items we can get for the playthrough is Algernon's Cloak. Now, Algernon's Cloak was a fairly important item to grab in my original playthrough. That was purely for the sake of boosted charisma. Didn't care that much about the charm ability. That's going to be very different this run. The charm ability on Algernon's Cloak is going to be one of our main ways of solving some of the most difficult encounters in the game. We will almost invariably charm the strongest warrior in the opposing group that we can. Let them fight everybody for us, because that gives us access to the HP buff that the enemies have in Legacy of Ball mode. See? Come on. 86. The highest I've seen so far is 88. Need 91. Show me 91. Come on, baby. Another 88. I think that's the third 88. It's still the highest I've seen. Oh, 90! So close. Insufficient, though. Unfortunately, each of those breakpoints is a really critical threshold, so the 91 is kind of non-negotiable. What I really wish it would do is automatically store your highest roll. Then I could speed up without worrying about missing a roll that works. We are almost at the 1 hour mark. I would like to finish character creation this episode. Very close. And just get a high enough roll. Is 75 as low as it can go due to class minimums? Seems that way. I have not seen lower than 75, so I think that's the floor. That doesn't really work for me. We've seen 190. I hate RNG. Alright, hold on. We're getting a lot of rolls at the floor. Alright, we're over an hour for the episode, and I don't know how long this is going to take. So I'm going to go ahead and jump cut. I will rejoin you when we land the roll we need. I'm back before I did the jump cut because I realized I didn't do the reading on the stats. My bad. Strength. Strength measures a character's muscle, endurance, and stamina. It is the prime requisite of fighters. Minimum 9, maximum 18. Dexterity. Dexterity measures a character's hand-eye coordination, agility, reflexes, and balance. It is the prime requisite of the thief. Minimum 3, maximum 18. Constitution. Constitution measures a character's fitness, health, and physical resistance to hardship, injury, and disease. This ability is important to the ranger. Minimum 3, maximum 18. Intelligence. Intelligence measures a character's memory, reasoning, and learning ability. It is the prime requisite of the mage. Note, a character with an intelligence score of 8 or less is illiterate and cannot use scrolls or most wands, regardless of his class. Minimum 3, maximum 18. Wisdom. Wisdom measures a character's enlightenment, judgment, and common sense. It is the prime requisite of priests. Minimum 3, maximum 18. Charisma. Charisma measures a character's persuasiveness, personal magnetism, and ability to lead. This ability is important to the druid, bard, and paladin. Minimum 3, maximum 18. Alright, now I'll see you when I have the roll ready. Now that my friends, is how it's done. Alright, so we're at 93. We'll take Charisma all the way down to 3. Strength is 1824, that's fine, because like I said, we're going to use the Manual of Gainful Exercise on our guy. There's the Manual of Bodily Strength, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Gainful Exercise for Strength. And we'll have 19 Strength, so the second number doesn't matter. 18 Dex, 18 Con, 18 Wisdom. Now 16 Intelligence would be sufficient, but I've got 2 bonus points. Alright, there we go. Skills. Proficiency slots, 4, skills 0. You have been given proficiencies to start your character with. These represent the ability to effectively use weapons. You may choose from any of the selectable proficiencies available to your character class. If your character is a fighter, he will be able to choose the same proficiency up to 5 times. This will grant him additional levels of specialization with the weapon listed. Keep in mind that a character can use any weapon available to his race and class, whether he has proficiency with it or not. However, if he attacks using a weapon that he is not proficient with, he suffers a penalty to his attack roll. The penalty varies according to class. Check the manual for more information. Proficiency slot table. Proficient, 1 slot. The character can use the weapon with no penalties. Specialized, 2 slots. The character receives +1 to hit, +2 to damage, and for warriors only, an extra half attack per round with the selected weapon. Master, 3 slots. The character receives +3 to hit, +3 to damage, and for warriors only, an extra half attack per round with the selected weapon. High Master, 4 slots. The character receives +3 to hit, +4 to damage, -1 to speed factor, and for warriors only, an extra half attack per round with the selected weapon. Grandmaster, 5 slots. The character receives +3 to hit, +5 to damage, -3 to speed factor, and for warriors only, an extra attack per round with the selected weapon. All extra attacks are only available to warrior classes. Bastard Sword. The Bastard Sword is a double-edged sword and can be wielded with 1 or 2 hands. It does more damage than a longsword, but less than a 2-handed sword. Longsword. The longsword is perhaps one of the most common weapons in Faerun. Skill with the longsword will allow your character to have access to a widely available and cheap weapon. Short sword. The preferred weapon of many a thief and halfling, the short sword is a light but useful weapon. Axe. There are 2 varieties of axes, throwing axes and battle axes. This proficiency class allows your character to use either. 2-handed sword. The hallmark of the traditional muscle-bound warrior is the 2-handed sword. This proficiency class allows your character to use these heavy swords to mangle your opponents. Katana. The katana is the finest example of the swordsmith's craft and requires great care to use. As skill develops, the wielder and blade become a single being dedicated completely to the art of warfare. These weapons are hard to find outside of Kara-Tur, so care must be taken when considering this proficiency. After all, skill with the katana is only helpful if you can find one. Warning, magical katanas are very rare in Baldur's Gate. Scimitar Wakizashi Ninjato. This weapon class allows the character to use various oriental swords, including the scimitar, the wakizashi, and the ninjato. Dagger. The dagger is generally used by mages and thieves. A small weapon, the dagger is still extremely useful, and many warriors take a proficiency slot in it just in case their larger weapons are stolen or destroyed. Warhammer. This weapon class allows the character to use throwing hammers and warhammers. Both of these weapons are often associated with dwarven warriors, and it's the dwarven people who make the finest quality hammers. Club. This weapon class allows the character to use clubs. Spear. The spear is a useful weapon, giving the attacker the reach against most opponents. Halberd. These long weapons are often carried by fighters working as guards. The reach of the weapon allows crowds to be pushed back without much danger to the guard. Flail Morningstar. The flail and Morningstar are blunt weapons used to knock your enemies senseless. They are difficult to use, but with skill and practice, these weapons are very useful. So, we're angling for the Flail of Ages in the sequel. So, we're gonna specialize in Flail Morningstar. Mace. The mace is most often associated with clerics. It is a powerful blunt weapon similar to the club, but designed to do more damage. Quarterstaff. A simple weapon, but in the hands of a skilled warrior, whether mage or paladin, the quarterstaff can lay flat any foe. Crossbow. The crossbow, although smaller and easier to use than the longbow, is just as deadly in the hands of a skilled shot. Longbow. This weapon class allows the character to use longbows, both normal and composite. Longbow gives the archer maximum reach, and each arrow delivers a substantial amount of damage. Shortbow. This bow is often used by those classes such as thieves who cannot use the larger longbow. It is more easily concealed than a longbow, and in the hands of a skilled user, just as deadly. Dart. Darts are small missile weapons thrown from the hand. Mages often use darts as they are one of the few missile weapons mages can employ. Sling. Although the sling is commonly thought of as a toy weapon, its lethality should not be underestimated. A strong bullet thrown from a sling by an experienced user can tear a hole through a man's skull. Two-handed weapon style. Okay, so these are different. Two-handed. This fighting style allows the character to use a two-handed melee weapon and receive special bonuses. Proficient, 1 slot. The wielder gets a +1 bonus to damage rolls, a -2 bonus to speed factor, and the ability to score critical hits on a roll of 19 or 20 instead of just 20 when using a two-handed weapon. Specialized, 2 slots. The wielder gets a further -2 bonus to speed factor. Sword and shield style. Sword and shield. Anyone can pick up a shield and get its basic protection bonuses, but by spending slots on this fighting style, an adventurer can maximize the benefits received. Proficient, 1 slot. The wielder gets a -2 bonus to AC against missile weapons. Specialized, 2 slots. The wielder gets a -4 bonus to AC against missile weapons. Note, despite the name of this style, any one-handed melee weapon in combination with a shield will receive the aforementioned bonuses. Single weapon style. Single weapon. This fighting style is for characters who do not wish to use a shield but want some bonus when using a one-handed melee weapon. Proficient, 1 slot. The wielder gets a -1 bonus to AC and inflicts critical damage on an attack roll of 19 or 20. Specialized, 2 slots. The wielder gets a -2 bonus to AC and inflicts critical damage on an attack roll of 19 or 20. Two-weapon style. Two-weapon. This fighting style allows the character to use 2 melee weapons at the same time with fewer penalties. A character wielding 2 weapons without a slot in this fighting style would occur a -4 penalty to attack rolls with the main weapon and a -8 penalty with the offhand weapon. Proficient, 1 slot. The wielder's penalties are reduced to -2 with the main weapon and -6 with the offhand weapon. Specialized, 2 slots. The wielder's penalties are reduced to 0 with the main weapon and -4 with the offhand weapon. Master, 3 slots. The wielder's penalties are reduced to 0 with the main weapon and -2 with the offhand weapon. We're going to specialize in that as well. Appearance. I'm fine with the default, I do not care.
Onward!
Name. Let's go with Skippy for this one. Okay. Boom, baby. Accept. Here we go. Difficulty. We read all this. No. This is more detail. Story mode. The party gains all the benefits of easy difficulty and they cannot die in combat. Easy. The party gains +6 to luck. Enemies are fewer, use only their weakest spells and items, and deal 50% damage. Party members cannot permanently die, hit point rolls are maximized, and spells can be copied into spellbooks without failure. Normal. Enemies deal 25% less damage and do not use their most powerful spells and items. Party members cannot permanently die, hit point rolls are maximized, and spells can be copied into spellbooks without failure. Core rules. This setting is aimed at veteran players who are well-versed in AD&D mechanics. Enemies deal full damage and employ advanced combat tactics. Slightly stronger enemy types appear, and enemy groups are more varied. Hard. Enemies are more numerous, employ advanced combat tactics, and deal 50% more damage. Stronger enemy types appear, and enemy groups are more varied. Insane. Enemies are much more numerous and deal 100% more damage. Significantly stronger enemy types appear, and enemy groups are even more varied. Enemies fight to the best of their ability and employ advanced combat tactics. Legacy of Baal. Enemies have all the benefits of insane difficulty, as well as significantly more hit points, improved THAC0, better saving throws, and more attacks per round. Warning. Legacy of Baal can only be selected at the start of the game, and once selected, cannot be changed. venture forth.
Nestled atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress, kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented, and it is home. Within these hallowed halls of knowledge, your story begins. You have spent most of your 20 years of life within this keep's austere walls, under the tutelage of the sage Gorion. Acting as your father, he has raised you on 1,000 tales of heroes and monsters, lovers and infidels, battles and tragedies. However, one story was always left untold, that of your true heritage. You have been told that you are an orphan, but your past is largely unknown. Lately, Gorion has been growing distant from you, as if some grave matter weighs heavily on his heart. You have asked about his concerns as gently as possible, but your queries have been in vain. Your sole comfort is the knowledge that he is a wise man, and you know he will tell you when the time is right. Nonetheless, his silence is troubling, and you cannot help but feel that something is terribly wrong. Today, Gorion has appeared more agitated than ever, and now he has uncharacteristically interrupted your chores in the middle of the day, imparting hurried instructions for you to equip yourself for travel. He has handed you what gold he can spare, but given no clue as to why. Nevertheless, you now stand before the Candlekeep Inn, ready to purchase what you need for an unplanned and unexpected journey.
All right, here we go. Journal updated. Find Gorion. Gorion, my foster father, has informed me that we must immediately blah blah blah. The party has gained gold 160. Welcome to Candlekeep, your home. As you move around the keep, you will find green-robed monks. Your character should walk over and talk with them. Many important messages will be given to you through the text window on the bottom of the screen. To expand and contract this window, simply drag the top to the desired height. Journal updated. Find Gorion. Gorion, my foster father, has informed me that we must immediately leave Candlekeep and set out on a journey. He has given me some gold, and I must purchase supplies for the road, including weapons and armor. Alright, that is going to do it for this installment of Let's Play Baldur's Gate, the new round. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, I hope you'll give it a like, consider dropping a comment, and subscribing to the channel. If you're interested, please check out my Patreon and my Discord. Those links are in the video description. Either way, I am grateful for your time and attention. I appreciate them both very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.